All right, and we are back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast. And for the third segment of today's show, we're going to go through all the games from last night, talk about, what the updated standings are, things like that. So, what we normally do, so far. I think the stream is back up and running good. I mean, I'm going to go back and watch it, make sure nothing happened. I know there's going to be times where you might see, like, my screen is going to, like, shrink down and stuff, but that's because I'm playing with stuff on OBS. So just again, some technical issues that you got to work through, but I think we should be good. So and if not, then we'll have to deal with it. But yeah. So with last night, pretty sure every team played last night. We'll go through the games. We'll go through all of them. I know when I went through. Well, we're gonna go through all of them anyways, but I know I tried to order them in, from less important to, the more important games. But yeah, so let's kind of go through it. So first, let's get the Yankees and the Red Sox out of the way because they're at the top, at least for me, on my phone. So the Yankees actually were able to split. Well, actually not split. They were able to win both games of their doubleheader with the Red Sox. They won 3-2 yesterday, and of course my dad is doing some work downstairs, so just bear with me here. So the Yankees won 3-2 the first game. Johnny Brito picked up the win, and Nick Pivetta picked up the loss. Then in the second game, the Yankees won 4-1. They were losing 1-0 like for a while. And then they were able to put up 2 runs in the 5th and the 6th inning. So they ended up making it 2-1. And then they tacked on 2 more runs in the top of the 9th, and they got the win 4-1. So Carlos Rodon picks up the win, his 3rd win on the season. And he lowered his ERA to 6 games. Wait, what did I say? 6 games? I meant to say 6 as an ERA. Yeah. So that was the doubleheader. Actually, give me 1 second. I'll be right back. All right, sorry, I'm back. Yeah. I was trying to get through that. Well, my dad finished what he had to do, but yeah. That was not good. But we're back. So yeah, Yankees. They won 2 games with a doubleheader, and yeah, they're back over 500, and they are tied with the Red Sox right now for last place. So again, battle for last place. So that's great. So then we move on to another doubleheader. So this was the Royals and the White Sox. A lot of scoring in these games. What did I say? The Red Sox? White Sox. White Sox and Royals. First game, White Sox won 6-2. And then in the second game, they beat the Royals won 11-10 over the White Sox. Not really much to say there. Royals at 101 losses on the season. So yeah, it's not really much to say. And the thing is, I said it yesterday. I thought the A's were going to end up finishing with the worst record, and it looks like the Royals might end up doing that. So, yeah. So the next game, Pirates, they beat the Nationals 5-1, and not really much to say about this game either. Both of these teams, Pirates are at 67 losses, Nationals are at 65. And the Pirates, that was a team that got off to a really good start this season, and then they kind of just flamed out. So, not really much to say there. Next, you got the Cardinals and the Orioles. So the Cardinals, they picked up a win, 5-2, And this is what I was talking about before. Wainwright, he's at 199 right now, trying to get to 200. And he picked up his 4th win on the season, 4-11 with a 7.95 ERA. So, yeah, that's another one of the reasons why the Cardinals are kind of in the spot that they're in, is just because, Wainwright, I mean, obviously he's not what he was years ago. And, but the fact that he's having this season is just, it's kind of upsetting, just because, he's been a guy that's been there forever, since 2005, and this is how he's going to go out. But you're hoping that he gets his 200th win. If he can get that and go out on a high note, that would definitely be definitely really good. And he's 42 years old. I didn't even realize that. But yeah, you're kind of hoping he'd have a year like Pujols last year and go out on like that. But yeah, it's just been a rough year for him, and it's been a rough year for the Cardinals in general. So, and then we go on. So the Reds, they picked up a huge win. So 6-5 over the Tigers, 75-71 on the season. That's their record now. The Braves, they won 7-6 in extra innings over the Phillies. Matt Olson hit his 51st home run. I could have swore that he hit 52 last night, but I was wrong there. That's my bad. He could hit 52 tonight. It's possible. It definitely is possible, and we'll get into that in the final segment of the show. The Rangers, they picked up a huge win. I know I talked about Max Scherzer getting hurt, so Scherzer actually picked up his 13th win on the season, 13-6, a 3.77 ERA. And Hyun-Jin Ryu picked up the loss. So I actually said, I thought the Blue Jays were going to get the win yesterday. I thought they were due to get one, but that's a big win for the Rangers, and that's a big loss for the Blue Jays, especially in this wild card race. So then we get to the Mets and the Diamondbacks. Mets win 7-4 last night. That's not a loss that the Diamondbacks want at this point during the season. When they're fighting for a wild card spot as well. Also, Twins picking up a win against the Rays. That's big for them. They get closer to clinching their division. Rays, the Orioles lost, so it's not that big of a deal for the Rays. The deficit really didn't change, but the Rays need these games too if they want to, any chance of winning the AL East. Then we move on to the Brewers and the Marlins. Brewers pick up a win 3-1, and that's a big win for the Brewers, because the Cubs, they got them right behind them, so they got to keep winning games. And Josh Donaldson actually hit a home run last night for the Brewers. They brought him in, after the Yankees got rid of him. So I wouldn't surprise me if Josh Donaldson goes out there and plays really well for them. It was just rough in New York. And then we have the A's beating the Astros last night, defeating the Astros last night 6-2. J.P. Sears picked up the win. Verlander picked up the loss. And actually, I kind of want to look at Verlander's numbers with the Astros since coming back. So, in his last 7 games, he's 5-2 with a 4.07 ERA. So that actually might be like what his overall numbers are. Well, actually, no, they're not. So they're 5-3 with the Astros with a 3.86 ERA. So it's almost, his ERA is near 4. So yeah, he's not having the season that he was having last year. Last year, 18-4 with a 1.75 ERA after missing the whole season the year before that. So he's not. It's not like he's awful, but he hasn't been how he was last year, which was dominant. And then you got the Cubs losing last night to the Rockies 6-4. So that's a big loss for the Cubs. Especially, with them in striking distance of getting the Brewers for that, the division. So, we'll talk about the standings in a second. Then you have the Marlins winning 8-0. I did it again. The Mariners winning 8-0 over the Angels. I keep doing that. So that's a big win for them. Guardians winning 3-1 over the Giants, and then the Dodgers all over the Padres last night, 11-2. Lance Lynn picking up the win, Mike Waka picking up the loss. So we go to the standings really quickly before we get into the final segment. And again, I apologize for taking another mini break. I didn't realize my dad was gonna, because we had some stuff going on in the house, getting floor redone. So my dad's doing some cleanup there. So that's why you were hearing a giant vacuum before. So I had to step out because I didn't know how long he was gonna vacuum for. So because I'm like, we're doing the show right now. But it's not a huge deal. But again, things like this are gonna happen. It's you're gonna hear my dog barking. You're gonna hear stuff happening in the background. You might be hearing. I mean, yesterday you were hearing some yard work being done. It's gonna happen. It's not. I don't live in a majestic forest with nobody around. It's stuff like this is gonna happen. So, but you just gotta laugh at it and go forward. It's not that big of a deal. But anyways, so before we wrap up this segment here, so right now in the updated standings, the Orioles right now have a 3-game lead over the Rays. Right now the magic number is 15, so that's going to go down to the very last week of the season. But again, I think the Orioles will take it. Twins, their magic number is down to 10. They're 7.5 games up on the Guardians. They should have that clinched at some point. Sooner than the Orioles, I would say. Then you have the AL West, which is going to be a dogfight to the very end as well. You have the Mariners. I said the Mariners this time. Thank you. 1.5 games back. Rangers are 1 game back. I think the Astros are still going to take it, regardless of losing 2 in a row. I think they're going to take it, but we'll see. Then you got the Braves. Magic number is down to 2 for the division, so they'll have that wrapped up, like I said, within the coming days. The Cubs are now 4 games back of the Brewers with their loss yesterday. So right now the Brewers' magic number is 14, and then the Reds sit 7 games back. And then you have the Dodgers. So they have their magic number is 5 to clinch the division, which they will probably get. So yeah, that's the division. Then with the updated wildcard standings, right now it's the Rays, the Rangers, and then you have the Mariners and the Blue Jays tied for that 3rd wild card spot, and they are a half a game behind the Rangers for the 2nd wild card spot. Then you have the Yankees and the Red Sox at 7 games back each, but they're not going to make it. So then you have the Phillies, the Cubs. Diamondbacks are actually 2 games back of the Cubs for that 2nd wild card spot, so Cubs better be careful with that. Then you have the Reds, who are 1 game back. Marlins are 1.5 games back, and the Giants are 1.5 games back as well. So those are the updated standings, and those are the recaps from last night. So with that, we are going to take our final break of the show, and then when we come back, we will talk about Matt Olson and what he is on pace to maybe possibly do, as we get closer to the end of the season. So before that, once again, a reminder to tip or donate to the program and get your comments recognized. Go to streamelements.com/gsmcsportsnetwork./tip. This really helps the show. And, of course, for bonus coverage, materials that are not on the broadcast, go to patreon.com and search up GSMC Sports Network. So we're going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, we will talk about Matt Olson. So stick around. We'll be right back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast.